Okay, guys, today what we're going to talk about is spanning tree versions. Okay, so you guys might already know. Remember, the whole purpose of spanning tree is to avoid broadcast storms. Within the evolution of spanning tree, there's become different versions. Okay, mind you, depending on your network, everything depends on your network and what the needs are for either the business, the clients, or what have you. Depending on what the topology is, what you're running, depending on your needs, also depending upon your availability and budget, spanning tree. Okay, more so devices such as switches and routers. Everything is going to have its own configuration. Spanning tree is basically an addition. So running an appropriate spanning tree version in your network is critical in order to go ahead and have obviously productivity at the same time efficiency. Okay. So with that being said, spanning tree. Okay. When I was learning this, guys, I remember learning this, and they kind of when was first introduced to this, they're just like, oh yeah, there's five of them, and each one has different features. Okay, but I like laying it out like this, and I saw someone else teach it like this, and I really like this because it puts it helps me categorize things. So the IEEE is basically industry standards. Okay, so keep that in mind. And Cisco, as you guys already know, Cisco is a powerhouse when it comes to networking, and they come up with their own versions and their own protocols, so on and so forth. So when it comes to spanning tree, I think it's critical that we spend some time just looking at this, so you guys can realize, hey, this is where we are, or this is where we came from, and this is where we are. So spanning tree protocol, the 802.1d, that was the very first one. Okay, so that was the very first introduction of spanning tree, and along those lines, they started introducing new ones. Okay, so spanning tree, we had that protocol. Cisco came out with their own. They came out with the per VLAN. Mind you, in your network, you might have one VLAN, two VLANs, 50 VLANs, so on and so forth. Okay, so now just think of spanning tree, but in the instance of per VLAN. Then they came out with rapid spanning tree. Mind you, rapid spanning tree, we talked about what would basically be port fast, so the ability to go ahead and get the links running up faster. Then Cisco came out with their rapid per VLAN. Okay, so now they're doing so it's the same exact idea, but this time it's on a it's spanning tree on a VLAN basis. So think of the VLAN as its own specific broadcast, its own specific entity, that which will go ahead and um, run spanning tree. You can have, like I mentioned, you can have multiple VLANs, so on and so forth. But from my studies and from what I've learned, it seems like multiple spanning tree. Okay, you're gonna basically be right now, as the making of this video. Right now, you're either gonna be here, multiple spanning tree 802.1s, or you're going to be here, rapid per VLAN spanning tree plus. And the major difference between these two, okay, the major difference is if you have, and this is kind of when I come back, it depends on your needs, depends on what you have, depends on your network, so on and so forth. Um, but the major difference between multiple spanning tree and rapid per VLAN spanning tree, other than one of them is a Cisco version and the other one is an industry standard, multiple spanning tree allows for a high amount of VLANs. So if you have like 100 or 200 VLANs, you're going to want to use multiple spanning tree. When it comes to, hey, I just got like 4 VLANs, so on and so forth, you're going to want to use the rapid per VLAN spanning tree. Okay. And there is some differences between the original, obviously there is major differences, not major, but there's differences between spanning tree protocol and rapid per VLAN spanning tree. Okay, such as what would be the port states, the port roles. We'll make another video. Okay, but I just want to start here. Spanning tree versions. Just understand that there's the industry standard, there's the Cisco versions. Okay, the major difference right now, you more than likely, if you were to go ahead and run a switch, you would see that they're using either multiple spanning tree for a system that has a high amount of VLANs, okay, or they're using the rapid per VLAN spanning tree that is basically has a couple VLANs, maybe not as enormous amount of VLANs, but that's basically where we are when it comes to the introduction of spanning tree. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to ask. Thank you and have a wonderful day.